Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter down. Welcome to yet another Stone Cold Hockey video to do with the 1970-71 Montreal Canadiens and trying to see if Ken Dryden can make a difference early in the season. We are in second place in the East, 4 points back of Boston. Toronto and the Rangers are also in playoff spot in the West at Chicago, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and St. Louis. Goal scoring, Danny Grant of the North Stars with 21 goals, Phil Esposito with 20. This was the season he had 76 one year. Dave Keon, surprisingly, third at 17. Our best goal scorer is Jean Beliveau, who's 15th. The legend, not Jean Beliveau, 12 goals. Assist wise, JC Tremblay is second, or first, Busick third, Hodge fourth. So three of the top four are Bruins. Jean Beliveau is ninth. Eula Point 16th. Points wise, Bobby Orr leads with John Busick and Ken Hodge. There, Dave Keon is ruining Boston's 1, 2, 3, 4 thing. Jean Believille's 8th in points. J.C. Tremblay's 9th, which is pretty good. Penalty minutes wise, Keith Magnuson's the only one with over 100 minutes. Dennis Hextall is second with 75. And on Pie McKenzie has 73. Our worst is Pete Mahovlich with 66. And Pete Mahovlich is not that much of a fighter. Ed Jackman and Gilles Vermont look like they're the top goalie tandem, 195 and 202. It's surprised that they're not number one. Eddie Johnston has yet to lose. Jacques Plantek's third, Tony fourth. Phil Myers sixth, 13, 9, and 2. Rogie 9 and 4. So Rogie's a 2-4-7. Montreal 27-point games. Vancouver's played 31. LA's played 24. So anyway, yeah, we are undefeated at home. So is Boston. California has yet to win a game on the road, yet they have more points than Philly, which is weird. Teams wise, Montreal, s'il vous plaît. Rogie 9-4-0. Meyer 9-2-2. Dryden's had one game started and won. So 1962, we were 42, 23, and 13 in real life. Looking at everything, we have won 6 of our last 7. Actually, we have won 12 of our last 14, if I'm thinking right. Highlights wise, 12 people have got a hat trick. Sean Belleville had a hat trick against the Golden Seals. I think I did that one. I don't know. Toronto Boston, that game from November 29th, from which Toronto was up 3-0 and choked it. That's number one. Our game against Detroit, when it was like back and forth, we won 7-5. November 29th is the second best, and the third best St. Louis over LA when LA was up 2-0 on Halloween night. Here we go. Our first game is hosting the LA Kings on December the 12th. Jack Norris and Rocky Vachon are in that. Jack Norris, known for being in that big Chicago Boston trade, he's the backup to Denny DeShorty, but they will go with Norris today. Rogie, our main guy, with Phil Meyer and Ken Dryden waiting in the wings. LA has Mike Byers, not Myers. You are winning one of the best Finnish players of all time. Bob Barry, who would later become coach of the Expos, the Canadiens. I knew I would say that. Ross Lonsberry, future Flyer. Eddie Joyal, Bob Pulford, former Leaf, future Blackhawk GM icon. Doug Robinson, Bill Cowboy Flat. Gord LeBoison, Lucien Grenier, Gilles Marat, Larry Mickey. Dale Hoganson, Matt Ravlich, Larry Cahan. Real Lemieux, Butch Goring. Yes, him with the big helmet, if you will. Al McDonough, Noel Price, Paul Curtis, and Jean Potvin, who, of course, went to the Islanders to join his brother Denny. No Ralph Backstrom, no Harry Howell, Eddie Shack, or Dick Duff yet. Of course, we traded Ralph Backstrom to LA. We traded Frank Mahovlich to. Well, Frank Mahovlich is still with Detroit. He'll be coming later in the season. Yvonne Roadrunner Cornway, Pete Mahovlich, Frank's brother, Jacques Lemaire, known as the Trap Guy, Gentleman John Beliveau, Mark Tartif, who would be better in the WHA, John Ferguson, the policeman, Guy Pointu Lapointe, Mickey Redmond, who would go to Detroit in that deal and become a great Detroit player and commentator. Phil Roberto, only known for his assisting on Belleville's 500th goal. Henri Pocket Rocket Richard, J.C. Tremblay, another WHA superstar. Claude LaRose, Réjean Houle, known as Peanut, Bobby Sheehan, Bill Collins, Serge Savard, the Senator early days, Leon Rochford, Guy Charon, who had over 700 games played in the NHL but never made the playoffs. He would have made the playoffs with the 71 Habs if they not traded him to Detroit. Terry Harper, think of former King. Larry Plow would be big with the Whalers organization in the WHA. Ralph Backstrom, who was traded to LA, mostly to help LA do better than Oakland in the standings, to make sure that Oakland's first round pick went to Montreal, and Montreal had the number one pick. Got Guy Lafleur, Brian Huck there, Jean Perrier, and Pierre Bouchard. First period, 4 minutes in. Can't interview Dale Hoganson. Deuxième de la saison, this is par Buyers et Paris. 4 minutes. Cachon. Winning. Pas de tir de contact numérique. Le match. 11e de la saison, this is par Backstrom. 2 minutes par 2. Kingsley or Eddie, not Royal, Joyal. That's his knife from Byers and Barry. Byers and Barry, that's 2 assists from both those guys. 3 minutes later. Retaliatory action. Tardif. Damn you. Terrible. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my man. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. His third from Le Boison. A Paul Curtis. Paul Curtis. Did I talk about Paul Curtis? I guess not. The Mark Touchy. Dispatch on AP. Knowledge. 2 teams after 1 period. Crazy. Montreal, has not lost a game on home ice. 4 minutes. 5 minutes later. Ouch. Much later. Up, we draw into a penalty. Poole drives Ravlich to call. No shot by Ferguson. And no shot by Peanut. Fuck. Action by the Kings skier. Eddie Joyal, his second from Lonsberry and Grenier. It's 4-2. Looks like we might have to put who in. 4-2. Question on my mind is, do I put who in, or let Rogie finish it off? Rogie would go on to play for the Kings afterwards. The Kings would get Rogie. Down 4-2 to the Kings. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going with Dryden. Double for 2. No shot from LaRose. No shot from Pointu. What are we doing? Catois. Ah, great. Penalty on Harper. Look for the hat trick. Lonsberry tried to get the shot. They're killing the clock. Or trying to. LaPointe. There's a minute left. We tied it. LaPointe. His 5th point from so far. It's 4-4. Really? Oh, and guess what? The game. Dryden stood tall and gets a point. We got a tie. 4-4. So Dryden is technically credited with the tie. I figured we might as well put Dryden in, and he gets us a point. Great work to shut down the Kings. Kings goes by Hoganson, Joyal, Mickey, and then Joyal again. Montreal goes by Lemaire, Tardif, and Lapointe. With 1:01 left. You had a chance. Montreal could have conceded the empty net goal, but no. December 12th. So we tied. That's the good news. The bad news is, because we tied, we can't. The next game has to be automatically done. So, we don't have a game on the 13th. I thought we did. Detroit, Boston. Boston crushed Detroit in defined powder 7-4. Toronto goes to Buffalo across the QEW and loses 5-2 to Buffalo. Wow. Chicago beats Minnesota 4-3. Rangers shut down the Kings. Norris was in net against Vermoon, but the Rangers goes by terrible Ted Irving. Break the walls down. Vic Hatfield, Brad Park, Jean Rattel, Raj Gilbert, and then Jean Rattel again. And Philly shuts out St. Louis 2-0. Favel with a shutout. Clark and Gendron for Philly. And Boston 7-4. They look good. Johnston. Boston goes by, who's that? Reg Smith? I don't know. Or Riley Smith? I don't know. Wayne Carlton, Hodge, Espo, Hodge, Busick. So anyway, 14th nothing. The 15th St. Louis crushes Minnesota like a grape 6-1. Wakely over Manico. McCagdy. He was at North Star. Second period. Jimmy Robertson, Berenson, Roberts, Saber, and Sutherland. Philly Vancouver sees Canucks win 4-2. So we play in Minnesota, but we have to simulate that game because we tied. Boston crushes LA 8-4 as Cheevers beats Norris, the former Bruin. Kings were up 4-1. Wow. Robinson Byers winning. They're up 4-1. Busick scored, and Sanderson, and then that third period crash. 6 goals. Cashman, Orr, Stanfield, Carlton, Smith, and Busick. Who's this Smith for Boston? I want to know. Rick Smith. Okay, dope, Miss Coke. St. Louis, Chicago with a shutout, courtesy of Espo, Pitt Martin, Dennis Hall, and Papan with the goals. Detroit crushing Cali 4-1. Montreal, we beat Minnesota in Minnesota. Vachon beats Manico. We were up 4-0. Lemaire, Cornway, Bill Collins, and Henri the Pocket Rocker Bouchard made it 4-0. Grant and Harvey's for Minnesota, but we still won. So that means we can do the next game. Rangers beat Buffalo 4-1, and the Leafs beat the Penguins 4-1. Thursday night, LA at Buffalo, and LA beats Buffalo 4-3. We go to Vancouver, so we go to Western Canada, which is unusual. Philly and Cali tied, so we go to Vancouver. I think this is the first time we played the Canucks. Rogie and Nat against Dunk Wilson, who is the number 3 behind Charlie Hodge and George Garner. I'm actually surprised that Charlie Hodge didn't start more games for the Canucks. He was the main guy, former Canadiens goalie. So Rogie and that. Rosie Paymont, known for having a goal scoring slump and having it trying to be snapped out of it by a hypnotist. Andre Boudreaux, known for his, I think, his headband. Wayne Mackey, the guy who was involved in that stick swinging incident with Ted Green in the 1969 preseason. Unfortunately, Mackey 3 years later would die of brain cancer, and his number 11 was unofficially retired by the Canucks. But then Mark Messier just had to have that number. Murray Hall, Orland Kurtenbach, yeah, that guy was the first captain of the Canucks. Rangers player Mike Corrigan, Danny Johnson, Dale Talon, who was actually the number 2 pick in the 1971 draft. The Sabres had number 1 was Gilles Perreault. Dale Talon was a good defenseman. He just played on crappy teams. Ray Cullen, Ted Taylor. I think Ted Taylor became a college hockey coach, I think. I don't know. Paul Pupio, Barry Wilkins, the first ever Canucks goal scorer in real life. Bobby Schmaltz, before he went to the Bruins. Garth Rizzuto, known for his mustache with the Leafs. I think Garth Rizzuto. Pat Quinn, yes, that Pat Quinn, who coached the Canucks to the 94 finals against the Rangers. Gary Doak, cheesy as they call him, former future Bruin. Ed Altum, Len Lund, Jim West, John Scala, Dan Seguin, Howie Young, Daryl Sly, Mark Reum, and Jimmy Hargraves. 3 minutes into the game, we take a jet ski. I'll drink a Bill Collins. I'll take a Bill Collins on that one. Bill Collins. There's something in the air tonight. His third from Tardif and Tremblay. Much later. Jet skieur. Gentleman, Jean Beliveau. His 13th from La Mer and La Perriere. Jean-Jacques. Jean. Say that 3 times fast. I dare you. 4 minutes later. Jet skieur. Forage in water. The sport from Max. 4 minutes later. Good. And a jet skiers. The policeman, John Ferguson, is 9th. Too bad he had to have a bastard son that ruined the Leafs as a GM. Jean Beliveau with the assist 3-1. So we're looking pretty damn good. 3-1. After 20 minutes. Early on, Canucks have a chance. Mackey? 5 minutes later. For skiers. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Not Larry Mickey, but Mickey Redmond. His 10th from Tardif and Pierre Bouchard getting on the board. Too bad we had to trade Redmond away. Chance for Boudreaux right away. Noosa. We're fighting. Claude with a shot. 2 minutes later. Chance for us. Pete Mahalba should make it 5. Action. And a chance by Danny Johnson. No. 4-1 from Montreal. They're going to go with Charlie Hodge in that to try to stem the tide. Former Canadian. Doesn't work. Skillers. Arigato, Phil Roberto. His fifth from Mahavich and Tremblay. 3 minutes later. Chance against Skillers. Peanut. His fourth from BB Cornway. 6-1. Looks good. They turn the clock. Ray Cullen. Stop by Fashion on. Doesn't really have to do anything. That's the first penalty of the game? I think it is. Power play good. Lemaire. 7 seconds left in the game from Savard and Pete. 7-1 Montreal. Yeah, I think we always had a clean game. We did. Canucks only had the one penalty was the final minute, but we crushed it 7-1. Doug Wilson was not the answer. Vancouver got to go by Corrigan, fine. Collins, Belleville, Ferguson, Redmond, Roberto, Houle, and Lemaire. 7 different goal scorers. Booyakasha. You know what I want. And the Canadiens got Vancouver right where they want it, 7-1. So where do we go from here? Actually, we don't play on a Saturday night, which is unusual. Flyers beat the Kings 6-3. Rangers beat the Stars 2-1. Pittsburgh crushes Detroit 5-2. Boston with a shutout. They can't lose. Cheevers beats Hall. Cashman and Sanderson go for goals. And the battle of the QEW, the Leafs get revenge, winning 7-1 as Gamble beats Joe Daly. Buffalo go by Joe Perot's 18th. Cool, but Brian Spencer, Jim Dory, Ron Ellis, Nair Ullman, Jim Harrison, Mike Pellick, and Paul Henderson scoring for the Leafs. 7 different goal scorers. Sunday, we head to California. We're going to LA, but we've already played LA, so we have to simulate that game. Boston narrowly beats Minnesota 5-4. Minnesota did make a game out of it, but Eddie Johnston still won the game. I don't think he's lost. Toronto went back to Buffalo and tied. Chicago crushed Pittsburgh 6-3. Cali with the big win over Detroit. That's their first road win of the year. Swift beats Cloud. Ernie Hicks go with 11 seconds left. Finally gives Cali a road win. We go to LA and we win 4-1. Meyer takes down Jack Norris. LA go by Joyle, but Sheehan, Cornway, and Gentleman John with 2 goals. Rules are we can't play the same team twice in one video. Fuck. And the Rangers beat the Canucks. 17 minutes. Now game on the Monday. On the Tuesday, Rangers go to Buffalo and win 4-1. Nice job. Chicago goes to Cali, wins 5-2. I'm surprised we're not playing Cal. California playing the Golden Seals. We are in St. Louis though. Boston beat Detroit 5-1. Cheevers beats Rutherford. Westball, Busick, and then 2 goals by Pi McKenzie. Chicago 6-4 over LA. Rangers beat Pittsburgh 3-2, and the Leafs shut up the Canucks 2-0. Gamble beats Hodge. Keon with 2 goals. He's got 20. So anyway, we're in St. Louis. We played St. Louis as a franchise twice in Stanley Cup Finals, 60 and 69. Phil Meyer will go in net against the legend Glenn Hall. Ernie Wakely made to be in the starting goalie. Michel Plas, the number 3. It's funny how the St. Louis Blues had Plant, Hall, Plant, Hall, and Wakely. Was that 1971? They went through 3 goalies in the playoffs. In the finals. I know Glenn Hall was the guy who got the goal scored on him by Bobby Orr. But yeah, Wakely was the main guy. Glenn Hall, and then Michel Plas, known for being the first minor league goalie to score a goalie goal. Marner versus Glenn Hall. Christian Bordelot, Frank St. Marcel. Remember those guys from my St. Louis playthrough in 1968. Jim Lorenz from Kitchener. Bill Sutherland. Red Berenson still around. Tim Ecclestone, George Morrison, Gary Sabrin, Craig Cameron, Jimmy Roberts from Habadon, Bill McCurry, not the referee. That was his uncle. Terry Crisp, Stanley Cup winner with the Flyers as his player, Flames as his coach. Barclay Plager with his brother Bob Plager and Bill Plager. It reminds me of Larry, Darrell, and Darrell from Newhart. Noel Picard, still around, the guy who tripped up Bobby Orr. Carl Brewer, former Leaf, still around. Bob Wall, John Arbor, Brett Selby, former Leaf as well. Ab McDonald, too. So here we go. Do we make him pay? Early, late on. Bordelot. Oh. Closely in. We have a chance. St. Marcel. Stop the fire. Holy St. Laurent. 4 minutes later. And Foster, we give a hit. Much later. Sutherland, no. No score through 20 minutes. 4 minutes later. 16. Furlong, 10 from Barrington and Moran. Kitchener. 2 minutes later. We have a chance. Lemaire just can't take the shot. 4 minutes later. Enforcer. There's a hit. 5 minutes later. Battle Enforcer. Aggression. Hit, but no penalty. Fluke. You're thinking, no penalty? Dudley gets hit. We're down 1-0 to St. Louis. Ay caramba. Much later, they're killing the clock. For the first time in almost 6 periods, we have a penalty. Force from Jimmy Roberts. We're in trouble. Why am I dangerous? The ref Wiggum thing is. We're in trouble. We deliver a hit on Ecclestone. Kansky, meep, meep, meep. Cornway is 11 from Tardif and Guy Charon. 2-1. Not over yet. And Picard for 2. Can we take advantage? No counter, 2-man advantage. And we get beaten in St. Louis of all places, and we lose 2-1. We gave it everything in our fucking power, but we couldn't do it to St. Louis. Give me a break. So yeah, Christmas Day when they still played hockey. Boston crushed Pittsburgh 5-1. Smith losing the Cheevers. Pittsburgh got a goal by Saint, but Busick, Espo, Westball, and then Esball is 24th. Toronto went to Minnesota and wins 4-2. Saturday night, we would host Buffalo, but because of the rule that we lost. We can't play them. Rangers shut out Detroit. Jackman does the job. Stankowski, Schobert, and terrible Ted Irvin with the goals. LA beats California in the Battle of California. We crush it Buffalo 6-0. Meyer with the shutout over Crozier. LaRose, Sheehan, Belleville, Collins, Lemaire, and Lemaire with the goals. Yeah, Sheehan and Collins finally coming live. Boston goes to Pittsburgh 6-2. Johnston beats Smith. Carlton, Busick, Sanderson, Espo, Carlton, and Hodge with the goals. Minnesota beats St. Louis narrowly 2-1. Why couldn't we beat them? Toronto crushed Philly in the fine powder 7-2, and Chicago goes to Vancouver and wins. What does that mean? Oh, okay, we can do that. Well, we go to Philadelphia to end the week. And because of time constraints, we're just gonna simulate. Buffalo crushes Detroit 7-2. Rangers with the shutout of St. Louis, thanks to Mr. Jackman, Gilbert, Hatfield, and we go to Philly and we beat them 4-1. Vachon beats Favel. Pete, Ferguson, Rochefort with goal, and Tartif. No late scored late, but yeah, we win 4-1. California Rangers crush California, yeah. We host Pittsburgh. That's our next game. Now Boston seems to be unbeatable. The Rangers are only 2 points back of us. Damn. But at least us, Boston and Rangers, have more points than the West leaders, Chicago, and they are crushing it. So yeah, it's going to be a dogfight just to make the playoffs in the West. Top 4 teams. Am I right? Hey, I'm Jeff Diamond.